What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. Today, I'm going to react to the Breakfast Club addresses Angela Yee, pretty much calling them out in an interview. But before we do that, let's give you a word from promopalace.biz.
Are you a musician looking for music marketing and promotion? Then look no further than Promo Palace LLC, your one-stop shop for all music promotion services. Services include Spotify playlist pitching, YouTube video promotion, record pool promotion, blog placements, radio airplay promotion, SoundCloud promotion, and much more. With over 2,000 customers and over 10 years of experience in online promotion, Promo Palace LLC is a company you can trust. For more info, please go to promopalace.biz. See you there.
That's right. If you need online marketing promotions, please check us out, promopalace.biz. Actually added new services. Always looking for new YouTube influencers, Instagram influencers, TikTok influencers to pretty much, work with and help promote our clients. All right, so let's get into it. Breakfast Club addressing Angela Yee, calling them out.
This is the Rumor Report.
Call out a name or you gossiping or you chatty patty.
Sometimes you say stuff and it's just gonna get you in trouble.
On the Breakfast Club.
Whatever. She don't know my business. I know hers. All right, so like I was saying, you guys were in the headlines all weekend, and it's only right if I'm doing the Rumor Report that we talk about this story. It's the top story. It's trending right now. So anyway,
I don't know
you
about
guys,
the
your
top
former
story.
co-host Angela Yee was on Tamron Hall show. All right, that's not an easy show to be on. She was sitting up there and she got grilled, and they talked about Tamron asked her about being the lone woman on the show, basically her being the only female representation on this show. Anyway, here's the audio so y'all can hear again what she said.
We're all individuals, but sometimes it's hard for people to separate that.
I want to go back to the woman part of it because you did hit on something. Because you were the lone woman on this show with a lot of bravado, with a lot of edge, disruptive, and that's why millions of people love the show. It seemed to me that people were always riding you.
Yeah, and I was the only woman who worked there too. I mean, when it came to producers, camera people, and it wasn't an easy room for me
I
to
didn't
be
know
in.
that. Did you find yourself fighting for respect from the co-host, who I know respect you, but when you're the only woman in the room, and which blew me away just now, you're saying even in the production part of it,
Yeah,
you're there.
it was a lot.
Cap!
Okay, let me say
He
this.
said,
From the moment I got here today, my experience has not been that there's no women. I've only seen women. It's like I seen y'all sitting here right now, but the
Are you calling us women? No,
a little bit, you a little. But no, I've seen a lot of women here. I don't know what her experiences was back then, but I've seen a lot of women. What do y'all say about this? What she had to say?
Well, I will say this. What she said wasn't true. I can't tell her how she can feel about being on the show. Because on the show, yeah, she is correct. It's me, Charlamagne, and herself. So, yeah, she was the only woman in the room. But when it came to producers, there were so many different women that worked up here and that continue to work up here. So I didn't like that, the way that they put that the Breakfast Club doesn't have women here or doesn't respect women's views, because that's not true. I mean, Taylor's been here for, how long has Taylor been here? 6, 7 years. She's been a producer here for 6, 7 years. Who's the person that...
and you know what? She also was on Flagrant, if I'm not mistaken, and the Brilliant Idiots with Charlamagne and Schultz. Yeah, so I had to throw that in.
actually cuts all these clips. She's cut these clips today. She's cut them for years. She's cut them for years. Sasha
Taylor to her. That new intro was fire today.
Sasha was here before Taylor. There's a bunch of women that's been working here. I did speak to you last night. Me and you got on the phone last night, and she understood what I was saying when she said that she meant in the room, meaning the people that actually worked in the room. But that's not what that clip said, and that's not how it went out. And that's what I was upset about, because there's other people that worked here that do a lot for the show.
Yeah.
The first person you talk to every morning is who?
Right.
Samantha.
Yeah, it was a woman. But
Sydney, who's here right now, is does digital. There's women that work here and continue to work here that continue to push me and Charlamagne to the next level. And I just took it as I didn't want to diminish that. And Charlamagne and I always talk about how important having women in our lives, especially black women in our lives. Charlamagne talks about his wife is the CEO of his house. I talk about my wife is the CEO of my house. So I just took that as a way. But we spoke yesterday, and she's gonna I guess clear it up on her show today of what she meant. But I just didn't want to diminish or take away from what these strong black women do for our show.
Yeah,
that's my point.
You know what? I'm really getting tired of people saying what they meant and then trying to come out and act like they meant something else. So they want to clarify things. We know what words mean. You could and if you don't, you could look up or Google what a word means, and you could put everything into context. And I'll be honest with you, I got a crush on Angela Yee. And I honestly think this show is not the same without Angela Yee. Something about it just doesn't feel the same, And I know they got a lot of different people coming on and got kind of co-hosting and stuff like that. It seems like they're doing kind of like a first take thing where they're just bringing a lot of different faces on. But something about it doesn't feel right to me. Let's keep it moving.
I agree, Shara. What you gonna say? What you gonna say? Well, let me say something else.
Charlamagne,
so I've been on.
Hold up, Charlamagne. The fact that Charlamagne nothing. He sounds like he just has this look of disgust on his face right now, like he's disgusted, and he should be, man, because they built the Breakfast Club up. Them three: Angela Yee, Charlamagne, and Envy. She's the one that decided, oh, I want to do my own thing. And to be honest with you, I'm not checking for her doing her own thing. And the Breakfast Club just ain't the same no more. So to me, it wasn't really that great of a move. It was almost like my man from the Packers. I can't think of his name right now, but wanting to go play with his homie at the Raiders because his buddy quarterback at the Raiders, Derek Carr, and Derek Carr is gone the next year, Like sometimes people are better like together, strength in numbers kind of thing. Like Migos, I never really checked for Quavo when he was by himself or Offset by himself or even Takeoff, who was my favorite. Rest in peace to him. I never really checked for him by himself. But every time the Migos dropped a new record, I was checking, Like some cats are not built for the whole thing in themselves. And Angela Yee's probably gonna do fine and whatnot. But I think she lost a lot of fan base. I think like the male fan base probably ain't gonna be checking for her as much now that she's on the Breakfast Club. I think like all her male fan base is pretty much like, nah, we ain't checking for you too much. And now she's only got a female fan base checking for her because Breakfast Club was bringing that male and that female fan base. And I think Angela Yee by herself is just going to have a predominantly female fan base. And I could be wrong.
A TV show, work with radio hosts. Most of them were men. We had Brett, beautiful woman, on the show as well. What I took from what Angela was saying was that on the radio, when the mics turn on, she's the only female in the room of you men.
That's facts.
Okay, facts. But the other part is where I would have taken offense if I were you guys, is for her to say that she didn't have anybody who she could go to as support. Because yes, at the end of the day, whatever you three say on, you all used to say on these mics, you're responsible for it regardless.
Correct.
Individually, whether it's a woman in the room who felt like she should have had her back or not, either way, she has to take responsibility for what she has said and not said in any moment on the show.
Right.
But for her to say that there were no women, of course I know she didn't mean literally no women. You took it like that because you were pissed off. But she didn't mean literally no women on the show. What she meant was she didn't feel support. What I have felt since I've been here and from the black women who I've seen here was nothing but support. Each story that I've been given is said, if you want to mention this, if you want to talk about that, do you feel comfortable with this? And I don't think that that's something new, but I think that when we talk about women being in the room, powerful women have a seat at the table, you have to talk about what that means to the people in the front.
Right.
The people in the front, those are our back people. Those are people who hold us up. So I think that's where she let down the entire Breakfast Club. And that's where if she probably had a chance instead of talking to Tamron, she would have been able to expound on that. But when you have someone like a Tamron talking to you and she's giving you accolades and she's, raising you up to do nothing but set you up to say something that's going to be catchy and she can look like a journalist, then that's where you find Angela in this place, trending for the wrong thing.
What you said just now
You
is
know what?
interesting, Portia, because I do.
Hold up, like don't try to blame the person interviewing them, because like when I watch a cat like Jordan Peterson getting interviewed, I mean this cat just articulates his words perfectly. When I see a cat like Elon Musk getting interviewed, this cat really, he does this little look up, make sure he's saying the right things when he says it, and I don't always say like the right things on this podcast, because I mean, I don't like to go off script or whatnot. To me, like going off script is just so unauthentic. I like to keep everything authentic with this podcast. And I think Angela Yee, as much as I got a crush on her, I think she's a person who wakes up every day, looks for sexism and racism in places that it might not necessarily be at.
I feel like Tamron Hall and her producers got together at some point and said, "Look, Wendy Williams is leaving, so somebody on daytime TV has to be messy." Because it feels like Tamron has been being messy on that show lately. Is it just me?
Hidden mess.
Okay.
It's a hidden mess. I went on Tamron's show and I was so excited. Okay, I mean, she's a beautiful black woman. She's, branched off, got her own show.
Absolutely.
I did not necessarily feel supported on her show.
Really?
Did I expect her to agree with everything? I was promoting my book, The Pursuit of Portia. I didn't expect her to agree with everything. But there was a turn where it turned from just her asking questions about the book to her kind of almost attacking me, almost making me.
And you know what? I like what she said right there. And that's one thing I don't never want to do on my podcast when I'm interviewing people is I don't want to feel like I'm ever attacking them. It's one thing to ask maybe controversial questions, but I don't never want to like try to attack nobody on my podcast. When I interview them, I want to try to make sure that first of all, I'm not going to interview anybody that I feel like I got to attack. If I feel like I got to attack you, I wouldn't want to interview you, period. I only want to interview people that I can try to help uplift and help promote and, help people get the word out on their brand or whatever it is that they want people to hear.
Feel like I had to justify anything that I had going on, and it just didn't feel good.
Did you feel that way too, Emmy?
Did you feel?
Me and my wife went on there, and it was a situation. If you picked up my book, I talk about my life and how I was, and the reason we wrote this book is to try to help other brothers and help other couples.
Right.
And I talk about how insecure I was as a young person. Me and my wife been together since 15 and 16, and how I was, and how I treated her, and how I changed, how I didn't know. And I think there was an incident that happened with her sister, and she was like, well, my sister was this and my sister was that. And it got to the point where I couldn't come back to that. But thank God my wife was there, and my wife was like, no, what happened with your sister and our relationship is totally different.
Right.
My husband has never threatened me with a gun or tried to kill me or any of those things. I can't remember, but of course they took that out. But I felt that too, but I will say this. Shout out to Thea Mitchum, who is our boss, who is a black woman. Yesterday, she got me and Angela on the phone, and we got a chance to have that conversation. And I'm glad we did. And hopefully they could, she'll say, what she wants and clear it up a little bit, because there's a lot of women that feel funny that work up here because they feel like, they were looked over.
Right.
So, and she said, yeah, she agrees. So she's going to talk about that today on her show.
Well, that's good.
And you know what? Part of the reason DJ Envy's insecure is because his wife came out and said she fakes orgasms, and the fact that he didn't have enough common sense and common knowledge to know that there's a lot of women that do that, that they over moan and just get loud for no reason and shit. You know, was crazy. Like, if women didn't feel a need to fake orgasms, they wouldn't have things like vibrators and dildos in the first place. You know, but yeah, I definitely think it was like a punch to the gut from Angela Yee. She could try to come back and say, "Oh, this is what I meant," but you know, you meant what you said, and you said what you meant, and she wouldn't be nowhere without them two, and them two probably wouldn't be nowhere as big as they are without her. You know, because like the Breakfast Club is really all three of theirs like claim to fame. I didn't know Charlamagne the God before the Breakfast Club, Angela Yee or DJ Envy like that. I might have seen DJ Envy had some production credits or something like that, but I wouldn't have known who he was if I seen him. And I'm a big fan of Charlamagne the God. Shouts out to Charlamagne from South Carolina. I'm from North Carolina, you know, and whatnot. So thank you for tuning in, Paul Pickett Podcast. And I'm out.